Hello everyone and welcome to another BO3 War draft, a best of 3. And okay, rare is not... Oh, sorry, I actually thought this was over the top, the 7 mana sorcery. Now this isn't unplayable. This is actually quite decent when you first pick this thing, because then you just make sure that you have a lot of artifacts and red permanents that, well, usually creatures of course, even though this applies to any kind of a permanent that deals damage. Now, you could actually start with this, and I might, but this locks to very heavy artifact slash red deck, because if this only works with like half your permanents or half your creatures, let's just say that, it's not going to be that good. So you could start with it, but the thing is there is a static net here, and it's just so good. I mean, first of all, it's just great removal, and you gain the 2 life and power stone regardless. Let's first of see if there's any commons here. No, nothing like disfigure, nothing strong as a common here. Static net is, I think, the best and safest pick here, because you don't necessarily get any good use out of the mechanized warfare, whereas this is gonna be great whenever you are playing white, and this is even splashable. One other thing before I move to the next pack is that, as you can see, these are separate triggers. So when this enters, you exile target non-land permanent, and then when this enters, you gain 2 life and create a tapped Power Stone token, which is important if opponent has some kind of interaction. They give, hexproof to their creature, or they bounce it or something, or sacrifice it. You will always gain the 2 life and Power Stone, which is, this could be worded in a way that it's only one ability, which would of course, fizzle or not resolve if the target goes away. But that's not the case for the static net. Here I'm going to take the Combat Treasure, amazing card for 3 mana and 7 mana. And it's of course the prototype cost shares my first pick color here. Other good cards in the pack is the Boulder Branch Golem. The Cavalry is decent. Yeah, there's some decent quality cards, quite a few of in this pack, but this is I think the best card in the pack, and it matches with my first pick color, so that's fantastic. Now, Maze Mighty Tome is no joke. This will draw you, 4 cards. Of course, you have to use a lot of mana on it, but then again, this is the Power Stone set. You will have more mana to use this kind of activations. But then again, this can still just, scry for free. So if you're like a little bit stuck on mana, you can just use the scry ability. If you scry like 3 times and then draw once, you still get a card back, some nice card selection, and the 4 life. And of course, usually you will be able to draw 2 or more cards from this thing. So I'm gonna take this over something like a Power Stone Fracture here. Now, this is not a soldier, it's a construct, so the fortified beachhead would be, an interesting pick too. But if the red was unplayable, I would just take the Power Stone Fracture next, and maybe then I might consider over these other cards taking the beachhead. Although you could also take the Monastery Swift Spear and go for red-white. But let's now take the colorless card, which will be in my deck no matter what, because it has no color requirements whatsoever. Alright, Goblin Jawbelcher is... It's just too swingy, because you can reveal a land right away and then it doesn't do anything. You have to pay 4+3 for the first activation. If you target something that has like 3 toughness, there's no guarantee you're gonna get revealed enough cards, even if all the lands in your deck are mountains. It's not good. I would play it in if I am actually a mono mountain deck. Then I think it's worth it, but not in any kind of a 2-color deck. Here I won't be taking the white card. I'm gonna take the Strongbow. It is a really good card. I have already, well, in fact, each of these cards represent an artifact also, because the static net brings a Power Stone, and red-white is quite good. And I haven't actually drafted a lot of red-white colors, just haven't been open at the same time in my draft, so I'm also happy to draft the archetype if I can. Of course, the one pack doesn't exactly... Well, one red card, I mean, doesn't mean I'm immediately red for the rest of the draft. Another beachhead. Now, if I pick the first one, I would just take this one, because this is more than blue-white producing dual land. It also has a very nice pump ability for your soldiers, so it would be worth forcing the blue-white if I happen to pick the first one. But since that's not the case, I would just rather take something else, and it's, I think, a decision between the Whirling Strike and the Phalanx Vanguard. Red-white is an aggressive deck. I also want some artifacts for the Strong Bull, but I'm not gonna stress about it too much. I think I wanna make sure I have it 2 drops. So I'm going to take this Vanguard. Yeah, it's not that bad. It's fine. Plus, you know, it can get some +1/+0 triggers here and there. Okay, there's a airlift chaplain, but there's also ambush paratrooper and a dragon engine. I don't think I'm gonna look for playing the steel exemplary. This might just be a 5 mana 4/4 in this deck. Um, so 1/3 flyer. It also is an artifact which, you know, the Vanguard cares about, and sometimes the Strong Bull. Of course, you don't really happily sacrifice other creatures, but it's still a threat of activation that is there. So you can maybe attack even if you don't plan on sacking when they don't block. Alright, Paratrooper is nice, but I'm gonna take the Dragon now. I don't expect to cast this at 8 mana very often, but I might be interested in the fact that it is an artifact. I mean, that's probably the tiebreaker there. The other options were good as well. The 2 mana flyer and the 3 mana flyer, both are fine options. I'm actually, based on the one draft I had, did I record it? I think I did record it where I had these Tokases Onilets. They did some nice work, and I quite like that it's a 4 mana unearth from the graveyard. And of course, if it's better when you have a lot of Power Stone tokens. I won't necessarily end up with a lot of them, but I already have one card that makes a Power Stone, because you do have to pay 5 mana unless you get to discard this somehow first. But it's cheap unearth, it makes it really worth it. You could take the Riposte here, and maybe the Onslaught too, but let's just take the Amulet, because I wanna see if it still can continue being quite a good card. Alright, so there are still 3 relevant cards for me. I could take the Scrapsmith, the Wings, or the Discipline. Each of these are cards that, I mean, the Wings and the Discipline are definitely cards you can play in a red-white deck. And then the Scrapsmith, I already have 1, 2, 3. Actually, out of my 7 cards, 4 are artifacts, so this could be hitting quite nicely. But I think I still take the Wings here. This is just a 3-drop that is pretty, you know, replaceable with any kind of a 3-drop. So I'm gonna just take the Wings here, and I already took an equipment, so I'm not that interested in another equipment. I'm not sure about my soldier count. It's actually only 1 out of 5 are soldiers, so it's not that great even. I'll take another Amulet, but of course you can't play like too many of them. But I don't think I'm going to take the Mithras Domination either, so let's just go with that. Disenchant and the Forge Chanter are both good options here. But I think it is more important to have the 2-drops, and this is one of the better ones with the ward. This can, you know, threaten to be 2, 4, 3, 5. I do like the Disenchant, but there are also decks in the format that don't really have a lot of artifacts worth removing, using a card to remove, I mean. But yeah, let's take the Scrapsmith, which is obviously going to be a lot more interesting than the Medic. The Scrapsmith is also good because with a double Amulet I'm also maybe sometimes willing to just leave them in the graveyard instead of picking them. I'm not seeing that I'm playing 2 of these. It's too redundant usually when you have 2 of these. It's just waste of a card when you draw both. I just take this thing. You know, maybe in some weird case I'm gonna sideboard this in. If opponent plays like mono removal, I can eventually finish them off because this can target players as well. I take the Whirling Strike here. And here, Mithras Domination, or a very weird sideboard card I'm unlikely to play, but I don't think the Domination is really that great, so I'm not going to pick it. Okay, there's a Gix. I have only one of those. I'm not going to play a double black card, and there's a Static Net. I'm gonna take the Pet card. And I think I have said earlier, I think it will be much harder to complete the Retro Artifact Mythic rares than the regular set Mythic rares, because their appearance rate in the packs is such a low rate. So I'm not gonna Mythic rare draft these regular Mythics that heavily. I mean, when there's something amazing for my deck, and this time there is a Static Net, so let's just take it and move on. Okay, Horned Stoneseeker. I haven't watched any other card, but I would be surprised if I didn't take it. I think there was one common that would make me pick it over this Stoneseeker. It's the Red Burn spell. That creates me a Power Stone token. It's the Excavation Explosion. Especially with the number of artifacts I have here, I'm actually interested in Power Stones now in this deck. But this also gives me a Power Stone. It's just that it's a temporary Power Stone. But yeah, let's take it. It's also a very good card. I mean, even if it doesn't make a Power Stone a 2/2 Menace for 2, that's not even a double caster. That's a really amazing stat line. Alright, so I have interesting options here. There's even the Ikor Wellspring. If I had like a couple of strong bulls, I would be happier to take it now. There's a levitating statue. Currently, it's only 5 non-creatures though. Disenchant and another Vanguard. I'm not going to take the Onslaught. 9 creatures, 5 non-creatures. It's tough. This can be really good. The Wellspring, it does synergize with a bunch of stuff. For example, with Scrap Smith, I can pick it. But it's just 2 mana, do nothing. That's what I'm worried about. I'm playing red-white here, so that is. It does pump this guy. And I like the Disenchant too, but I think I need the 2-drop here. I'm not sure. If I had another strong bull, maybe the Wellspring would be an easy pick, but I'm gonna take this Phalanx Vanguard now. Okay, I think I have a playset of Mesmeric Orbs, so I'm not going to take this. Yeah, it's my. I guess this is the first playset of a Mythic Rare, retro artifact Mythic Rares, so I don't have to take it because it's really not a very reliable way to win games in Limited because it's a symmetrical effect. Here, of course, there are 2 very nice uncommons in the pack, and there's a very good green common. They don't help me really, but I'm going to take the Ambush, a Paratrooper. Nothing wrong with that. It's definitely better than the Rock Hunter. Well, again, I get a a chance to pick the wings, which I wouldn't have taken in either case. There's also very good blue or 2-drop, but there's a Soul Guide Lantern, but there's a Power Stone Engineer. I do care about Power Stones in this deck. I have multiple cards that care about. First of all my artifacts, of course, always. When you have artifacts, Power Stones are getting better, but then there is the Scrapsmith also, which, the Strong Bull, which wants to have artifacts laying around. So let's do that. I think I might start having quite a decent amount of 2-drops. I want to play at least 6, maybe even up to 8 2-drops if they are good quality. Alright, this is an interesting pack because the conscript infantry is decent in this kind of deck. I could actually consider it a mass production here, but there's also an evolving wilds. Look at the amount of cards that are totally playable. I'm at 17 when it's packed to pick 6. So even though these are cards I could see playing, I don't think they are like the linchpin of the deck. I will take the free mana fixing now in the form of evolving wilds because it's not enough to have 2-drops. I also have to be able to cast my 2-drops. Now this is interesting. I could take the mass production now because I have quite a few synergy pieces with it, but it is still 6 mana and I can't cast it with Power Stones. I think it's safer to just take the Unleash Shell here. I like the rivalry more when I can actually sacrifice things. If I steal an artifact with this thing, I could sack it with the Strongbow, but it's only one. It's not that likely to draw both of them. I'll take the Unleash Shell. It's a 5 mana removal that I'm happy to play as a 1 copy in most of my red decks. Now, yeah, is it going to be the Onslaught? I like the Demolisher as a sideboard card, but I don't know if I'm quite there in terms of the Power Stones. The 7 mana is a tough requirement. I think I could see, the Onslaught being better in this deck. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a main deck card, but as a sideboard card, this is a little bit too greedy. As of 5 mana 3/2, you would need to really care about those Power Stone tokens a lot more than I care about to warrant playing a 5 mana 3/2, which is really undersized for its cost. There is one rare creature land here in this set, the Mithras. Whatever it is, I could maybe consider it. I don't know if I'm gonna ever play the Medic in this deck, but then again, it's a sideboard card I'm more likely to use than the land, now that I think of it. Alright, I'm probably gonna take the 3/1 that costs 3 here and gives me some value. Also an artifact for my few artifact synergies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2-drops. Okay, I don't need to pick a bad 2-drop, which is the Rock Hunter. And another Onslaught Mounted card in my colors. I guess I put one in the deck and one not in the deck. I'm just not playing the domination. I'm gonna be greedy and take the 20 gems here. I'm not playing 2 of these Fall of Crooks either, so now I'm gonna take the Mistress Domination. And okay, I take the mass production over the using Medic, especially because I already have a Medic in my sideboard, and I got a Rock Hunter, which is easily cut here. Wow, well, this is pretty good pack. There's a Prison Sentence, there's a Disenchant, and there's a Giant Cindermore, and there is a Yocean frontliner. I don't think this is the kind of deck that wants to run a blast zone. I don't really have time to mess with this, and it's of course land that makes my colors worse. I mean color producing mana base worse because it's only adding colorless. I mean, I would take the Prison Sentence over the Disenchant, and I would take the Syndemore over the Frontliner. The question is, am I gonna take the Prison Sentence over the Syndemore, which I think is quite nice, and the set has some life gain things, and this really can mess up with that stuff. It will mess up with my static nets, but I'm gonna be the aggressor. I'm gonna take the very cheap creature with nice set of abilities. Here I'm going to take the Recruitment Officer. Oh, there's also the Mutt. This is actually a tough choice because the Mutt is really decent and it can be cast with my Power Stones, although I can use this ability with Power Stones. It fixes my draws, it works with my some number of artifact synergies. This is a really tough one. I actually think that Mutt is better. It's also one way to discard a amulet so I can unearth it for free. I wouldn't have done this day one of this set. I would have felt myself mad if I did do this pick, but for this deck I think this is the better pick, as crazy as it might sound. Okay, another mass production. I mean, these of course are not very good cards, so it's not a surprise that they are passed, and this might be in the packet when it's time for pick number 11 as well. So should I take one Disenchant? I have passed so many of them. Thing is, there is an Iron Cavalry, and now of course I have. Well, actually, I don't have that many soldiers. Now, of course, the tokens are soldiers that I get. The one tokens will be soldiers, but this is actually not a lot of soldiers for this thing. And I have a couple of 5-drops I'm happy to play regardless. So I think it's time to now. Yeah, I don't have enough mountains for this thing. This might not be necessary. I'm gonna take a Disenchant now. I have passed so many of them that let's pick one of them. And there's another Mutt, which I'm gonna take over this Amulet, over the Infantry. It's just such a nice card. And here, Power Stone Engineer. Wow, is this like how many mass productions have I seen? Like, is this the third one or the fourth one? Well, I'm not playing. Is it okay? The one is in my main deck, but of course I'm already having enough cards to start cutting something. But I think the Power Stone Engineer is the 2-drop of my choice here. I will cut some 2-drops, but we'll see what they will be. Alright, so Elif Chaplain versus Infantry. Maybe I should like have a little bit of both. I do want to have the flyer in this case, I believe. And like, this can also mill stuff like the Unearthers, which is a little bit of value always. Alright, let's take it now. Another Phalanx Vanguard, which is it's gonna be unnecessary. I have 2 and I'm gonna have to cut a bunch of cards. Oh, there's a Mutt. I forgot to see the artifact. I mean, I forgot to look at all the cards in the pack because I was thinking about picking the Race to the Ground, but I'm not gonna pick it over the Mutt. So let's just go crazy with that thing. Tower Worker Onslaught. Okay, another Disenchant for sideboard. I'm gonna main deck only one. I mean, I might not even main deck that one because the cards might be a little bit tough. I have a pretty high quality of cards in the deck. Do I need a third Disenchant though? I think I'm going to take the Blast Zone. Now it's 20 gems, and also maybe a land I could see sideboarding in against some specific things. Opponent has a crazy good 2-drop, like the Shade, the Black Shade rare that pumps with any mana. So I could sideboard it in when I need to really deal with that. I think the Infantry isn't that great. I like the Loran's Escape as a sideboard card against removal heavy decks, so I have enough playables, so I don't need the Infantry here. And then I suppose the Bitter Reunion will be just on. I mean, I won't have room for this kind of an effect. I'll just take the Cliff Stomper. Who knows? Maybe I need an 0-4 to block some stuff. Third Amulet or the first Riposte, which is good against aggressive decks. I don't think I'm going to play the third Amulet, so I'll take this, which is again a sideboard card. Definitely not a main deck card, but a very good sideboard card, I would say. Do I want to have the 4-mana thing? Will I ever play multiple of these? It's unlikely, but I think it's quite unlikely that I'm gonna play the other cards as well. These are some unnecessary cards. Alright. Okay. I think with triple Mutt this is an These can be a 16 land deck. Because I have a double Power Stone Engineer, double Static Net. Those are cards that can create me a Power Stone. Of course, this is a death trigger, not an ETB, but maybe this will die at some point. So I have like 4 cards that give me a Power Stone for the Tokasis Onilets. These guys are 3-drops mainly. But yes, as you can see, this is 30 cards, and even if I play 16 lands, I will need to cut a bunch of cards. Now, Maze Mind Tome is still good in aggressive decks, so I'm gonna play that thing. I will cut the Rock Hunter and maybe the Forge Chanter. I'm not sure how many non-creatures I'm gonna end up with, but I do like the Vanguards, the Power Stone Engineers, and the... what else there is? The Paratrooper and the Stone Seeker more. But is that... well, let's do this way. Type creature. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Okay, that is 10 2-drops. So I can cut the Forge Chanter, it's the weakest of the bunch, and then how many artifacts that's in total? Yeah, that is 9 artifacts plus some, the static net gives me an artifact immediately, so it works with the triggers here. This can, I kind of want to, well, first of all, I'm gonna cut 1 mass production for sure. I don't need 2, definitely. And then I kind of like to have 1 because of the Onslaught. It is a very powerful combination, of course. Making 4 tokens and then on the next turn you can have a pretty good swing. Plus, of course, this thing has other synergies too. Works with the Strong Bull very nicely and gives a pretty decent trigger for the Vanguards. They become, 6/2s, at least the opponent. I won't just be able to take the damage on that. Well, they can, but the 6 is a lot of damage, of course. How about the 3-drop? Is there something that is just not so good? So the amount of artifacts is in fact 9 if I don't cut any of them, which is a lot of artifacts for the Scrapsmith in fact. And I also like the mill ability here because of the unearthed creatures I have. So I'm gonna play the Scrapsmith. It is the weakest of my 3-drops though. I guess that conscripted infantry might be even weaker here though, because I don't know if I care about this. I'm not having a sacrifice deck, so I'm not going to get like a double sacrifice out of this thing. Even though I can sack the token for something like a Strong Bull. But I have only 1 Strong Bull, so I shouldn't really focus too much on the synergies involving the Strong Bull. So I guess this infantry can go away. This is, still 6 3-drops here. And now we are at the stage in the deck building where I don't actually want to cut any more cards, but I think I will cut the main deck disenchant. Looking at the removal in the deck, there is a couple of static nets and an unleash shell. That's not a lot, but they deal with even big things, and disenchant is a good sideboard card when I know it will have targets worth removing. Now 1 more cut. I will play 16 lands here, because of course with the triple Mutt I should be able to find my land drops. If I have any lands I can cast these, then I can discard non-lands to find more lands if it comes to that. So I could see cutting 1 more 2-drop. That's 3, 5. That is 9 of them right now. If I don't cut that, yeah, I'm definitely playing the Whirling Strike and the Wings. They are nice tricks to have in this kind of a deck. And I really don't want to cut my 3s. The creature count is pretty healthy, 17. Yeah, so if I'm gonna play all these non-creatures at 2, I want to play this Onslaught because it's of course, just the +2/+0 will be good in this kind of deck regardless. I might have a whiteboard because of course there will be board states where I just keep drawing my 2-drops, I play them, but the opponent has big enough creatures so I cannot actually attack into them. In that case, I might have like 5 creatures in which, and of course the +2/+0 will be just crazy. And then this has the mode to make 2 artifact tokens. It can give this surprise boost mid combat, make it into a 4/2, more food for the Strong Bull. Yeah, I'm gonna play the Onslaught, and I think the cut has to be then. Yeah, the Vanguard has synergy with my artifacts. It will be a 3-power attacker quite often actually, but still, I'm not cutting the Onulets. I'm not cutting the Vanguard here. It is the weakest of this bunch of cards. yeah, I think this is final now. So let's go here, and a lot of options for sideboarding. But cutting cards will be a little bit difficult. Although I could see cutting some, X1s. Although I don't know, the Power Stone Engineer is giving me Power Stones is still valuable, even if the opponent has like one tokens to easily trade with these guys. But well, when it comes to sideboarding, I will. I mean, let's say if the opponent has good targets for disenchant, of course this will be much better than several cards in this deck. So I will find something to cut when it comes to that. So I have one Evolving Wilds in here. I'm not playing the colorless producing land, and now that I play only 16 lands, I have an 8-7 split to add here. I'm very even in terms of amount of white and red cards. That's a red 3-drop, that's a white 3-drop. There's one red double caster. These things are red when you unearth it. I mean, I have one more white card, but I have a red double caster, so I guess that is the, tiebreaker here. I will put 8 mountains and 7 plains in the deck. And I guess this unearth being, red means that if I have more red mana, it's more likely that I can unearth this. And if I'm lacking plains in that situation, I guess this unearth Mutt can at least dig into a plane. So. And plus this Airlift Chaplain can find me a place, but of course I do need to have one white mana at that point anyway. But if I want to like double cast these some white 2-drops on turn 4, the Chaplain can help there. But yeah, that is it for now. And well, like I said, 8 mountains, which is the art this time. This kind of an explosion. And then 7 plains. Strixhaven. Okay, that's fine. And that's the deck. I quite like it. I do realize that I'm relying a lot of my on my 2-power 2-drops here, but I have a means to make them threats later in the game. There's a Whirling Strike allowing me to attack into bigger things. I have wings here. I have the Onslaught. I can clear away with the Static Field. This thing flies. This thing has menace. These are just good no matter what. I'm not too concerned, but of course I can try to maybe sideboard into well, I can't exactly sideboard into heavy hitters, but I can still do some tricks here. But yeah, that's the deck. Okay, on the draw, most likely, of course, the opponent can decide. Alright. Ha. So if I draw any land, I think if I knew that my top 2 cards has a land, I'm happy with this, because then I can play the Mutts, maybe dig into a 3rd land, and also I can play the my Maze Mighty Tome here. I'm actually gonna take the risk. I have 15 lands remaining in the deck. One of them enters tapped, it's the Evolving Wilds though. That's almost 50%. Of course not exactly. Because I like the power of this hand. If I do draw the 3rd land, in time I can play the Syndemore, I have the Unleashed Shell, this can draw me a card. I'm gonna keep it, but this is one of those keeps that can really backfire if like my first land is 4 cards deep. And I of course drew a 6-drop here, but I can discard it to the Mutt. And I will. So let's now hope that I would have a land, which I don't. So is the third card going to be a land? I don't usually keep one landers, but this was such a sweet one. Okay, well this is gonna be a problem if I don't land right now. Oh, come on. Okay, good. So what I'm going to discard, kinda don't want to discard the Unleash Shell, I might need it. I'm not sure about the Whirling Strike. If I draw a planes, I will be playing the Treasure and the Syndemore, but it's actually possible I don't need these anytime soon. So this is equip 3, so unless they have 1 mana removal, they won't be able to connect, because I would lose, of course, a lot of life with that. They might have a Loran's Escape there, which makes this guy survive. Then I need to draw a land to have another creature, because of course I will just lose to such a huge chunk of life if this is going to Or they can have the first strike trick as well. By the way, if they have the first strike trick, it will be... Yeah, they have it. Oh, but it only has first strike for one turn. It will be a 3-2 without first strike going forward. Okay, so I need just this thing as a 2-1. It doesn't matter if this doesn't pick a counter. But let's hope I can... First of all, is there a planes? There wasn't a planes. Okay, I didn't get an artifact either. There's a static net, but it's of course a white card. Now if they have something on this, I will take 3 and then I will lose half my life total. Okay, more tricks, I guess. Are they gonna really do the stuff with the quiet spike here? Supply drop, alright, well that's dealing with that thing, and then I get finally a plane. So what that means for my... I mean, I can play the Cinder I would of course trade with this thing. I can play the Combat Treasure, it will draw me a card. I think I won't be getting to 7 mana. And of course the Double Striker can block this guy, so... Because of the card draw, if I just get like an Unleash Shell... Yeah. Well, the wings will be good at a later point. Of course, every creature they have... I guess I just need to run out of their creatures. I'm not dying if they remove my treasure, because I will just, you know, take 10 damage. They use the card, a card that I drew a card with, so I take now 7 life loss here, and then hopefully they are running out of stuff. They do have one card draw here, of course. Mistress Onslaught. It is the mana efficient play here. I can block this, double block this guy, so let's see what happens. At least if they have a sorcery speed removal on here, it's not gonna be enough. Okay, I don't like that at all. The equip cost is 3. Okay, Amulet will be good, of course. But I need to do something. I actually don't want to necessarily play this yet because it prevents me from gaining life. Well, I will just block, I guess, and it will trade. Unless they have an artifact enter the battlefield. Well, I'm not dying, of course. It's rounded up, yes, but so let's say if this flies as a 2-power thing with the quiet spike, I go to 5 and then I lose 3. I go to 2. Of course, if this is on my battlefield, then it's gonna be pretty awkward, because then if this doesn't die, I'm still taking it. I kind of hope that they just don't have an artifact here, or if they do, they at least don't have the mana to equip this thing. So I only take 2 instead of them, you know, 5 or whatever. I need the Unleash Shell to deal with the Architect if they do have Okay, they main phase that. Well, maybe they do want to equip the Quiet Spike there. That does make sense actually, yes. Okay, no, they didn't have to main phase that thing. Well, I'm happy to take this trade. Now I just need to deal with the Paratrooper, which I can do if I find a land. So at the equip this I go to 6 and then I go to 3 when I lose half my life. I'm thinking about just starting doing stuff with the Maze My Tome. It will gain me 4 life in the end as well. And I don't have to draw cards with it all the time. I might actually just do it like... I could also just, you know, use the Mutts to try to find a land now. Just discard the Amulet. I don't know though. I need the land for the Unleashed Shell for sure, but I could play the Power Stone Engineering and the Tome and then scry for land. I believe I'm gonna do that. So I will go now to 3. I mean, but they can of course have a means to like finish me off entirely, but I mean, they they haven't still drawn a card from the supply drop. And of course I do have the Aeronaut's Wings, which... if they have more flyers, I can, you know, have blockers for them. They get an artifact back. They don't have an artifact. They could have actually waited until they sacked the drop there. Well, I go to 3 now. Let's cry now. Land, please. That is a land, so... yeah, but... I'm not... No, it's not... it's not good enough, because they can pump this guy. So I go to 3 now. First to 6 and then to 3. Then next turn they can attack and pump this guy. So it will be dealing 2 and then I lose half my remaining 1 life, rounded up. So I will go to exactly 0. Of course I can play the Aeronaut's Wings and equip it, but problem is they have the 3-3 here. So I will be on 3. So if I have block only one of them, I will still lose. Both will be dealing. Plus they have the, you know, this can act, they can pump it into a bigger thing. So I'm gonna put a stop to my upkeep. Like this. And I will scry. Well, there is a land, I don't need double white, but the problem is of course that I will have to jump block the Loran Disciple of whatever. I would love to be able to use the Whirling Strike there, but I will put a stop in my upkeep just in case. I'm not sure if I'm going to upkeep Scry on the next turn, but I might. So my only option is to just jump block and use the removal on the flyer. And then of course I will have a Cho'Gath's Omelet which can block the Loran. They draw... oh, they don't have the... That's actually really good, because now I don't have to. Because they can't actually pump it. I will go to 1 here. I can kill the Loran here. But do I want to, because it is still a flyer here? Huh. Oh, but... ah, that's fine. I can use the Whirling Strike here. Well, actually I miss mana now, but I won't be using 3. But what I can do here is do this. Whirling Strike here. And then I will go to 1, because they don't have 5 mana to pump this thing. I don't think they should have done the supply drop there yet. And do I want to scry immediately? I think I'm just going to... I'm gonna just use the Unleash Shell. I have to do it, so... But then I don't have to scry right now. I don't have to scry right now. Oh, this gives me 2 life. And... well. Will this deal with anything? I'm actually going to just do this on my main phase. And they don't have Unearthers, so I'm not concerned about... haste. Mono white doesn't have haste. I'm not even sure if I want to waste a scry. Well, I have to, so now they have... damn it. That is nasty. I don't even get the 4 life from this thing. I was really counting on it to give me 4 life. But they had a very decent thing. Okay, that is still a good one to draw. It is only a 2-1 Vigilance. Oh, you are kidding me. They just drew the hasty thing. I said Mono White doesn't have... Mono White doesn't have haste. Yeah, but artifacts. Is this the only one? I get... yeah, there is the 7 mana red... what's the mechanic there? That you can cast for cheaper. The red 3-drop or 7 mana artifact drop, for which they had mana, which also has haste. Swift Gear Drake. But yeah, they're quite a spike, deal 7 damage to me at some point. But of course I lost because I, I kept 1 lander and I missed a land drop on turn 2. Right, so I think I'll play the Disenchant, but maybe like one. I didn't in the end see that many good targets. The Drake is one and the Spike is one. But the Spike is annoying. It's, you know, equipped creature has death touch means that they can trade with anything I attack with. How about them? They have a Disenchant. Amount of removal. I don't think the Lorance Escape is that needed. The Deadly Riposte might be. Might be. I'm not sure if I actually care about it. I will be on the draw. On the play. Well, I have the Disenchant. What do I not need? Like another Vanguard, maybe. I guess I can deal with, get rid of that. So, I think I still like the mass production here. It's also good with the Paratrooper, which I didn't mention, but it is in fact good with that thing as well. I'm not gonna sideboard in the medic, any of this stuff, the fly. No, let's just see how this deck, you know, kind of maybe perform if I don't keep a one lander. On the play, I don't think I wanna risk it anyway. That's good. Now, am I gonna discard anything? This is an optional discard. Well, I will see if I draw a land. If I draw a land, I think I will discard my fourth land. But with the amulet in my hand, I don't think I'm gonna discard a third land. Okay, well that is now, I think, an easy discard. Well, now I drew the 6-drop, but it's fine. Okay, apparently they have nothing, and well, neither do I, but I can disenchant any artifact if they are having one. Yeah, that can come back from the graveyard. It's a bit too risky to disenchant it because it will come back. Okay, although I can static net it, but I'm not sure if I actually want to go that far. It is. Oh, I will actually do that because if I don't draw land, the static net guarantees I can play the Amulet. So I'm not too happy about this, but I don't want to disenchant it because they can have one enter and then it's kind of waste. But mostly because I want to cast these Togasis Amulets. Okay, they are just playing all the. That's too many equipment. Oh, by the way, they're also playing. Okay, they're playing like 50 cards deck. Sure. Now they don't have anything going on. Well, they are gonna lose now. I don't think there's any white mass removal that can deal with this board. Plus these, you know, unearth. Okay, well that was a non-game. At least the first game, which I was in a very much of a bad shape there, it was at least a game I was almost able to stabilize. And it was an interesting game. This was just nothing. Alright, so I didn't even realize that they are playing like 50 plus cards, so I'm not sure. But I saw so many of this equipment that, although I don't want to disenchant this thing, I think I'll still keep the one disenchant in the deck. It's fine. Yeah, I don't really see why would I do any sideboarding here. I think the main deck is quite good enough. I would be happy with it, you know, without sideboarding at all. But I guess I can do like a little bit of fine tuning. Okay, so now I have another one lander, and they are in fact 45 plus 7, 52 card deck. I don't have now such a choice to you know, hand. Even if I draw one land, it would, first of all, it would have to be the mountain to allow me to play that thing. So it's mulligan now, and well, I'm not gonna go to 5, but this is just horrible. Unless I draw well, of course. I can draw well, and then everything will be fine. That is not drawn well. That is totally unnecessary of a card. I have about 3 mutts, so it's very at least useful to get rid of these extra lands if I keep drawing them once I find my mutts. And now the chaplain being my 3-drop here is fine. I can actually just. Oh, there goes my wings. Well, I guess I can trade with the 2-1 with my. Hopefully 1-1. I hope I get to draw a card with that thing. You know, just mill a creature ideally. Oh well, there's no creature. Well, I'm still taking the planes because the 1/1 is gonna trade with either of these, and I actually have this thing here which I might use. I mean, I might use as an 8 mana, and even if I don't, the pump ability still benefits from having access to all the mana. So they took a planes 2 instead of a Ocean Medic here. Okay, they are gonna have the trick, but I mean, I'm gonna try to. This was such a different game than they had in the game 2. Okay, no tricks, at least no tricks they're willing to use. They wanted to have the trade happen. Okay, so well, I'm not gonna wait to 8 mana. I'm just gonna play this. It's actually a fine card to have, blocks everything here, or at least, you know, takes the trick away. Then I can have the amulet. And one reason I didn't mention is that I do want to, you know, ditch these lands to Mutts instead of, you know, going to 8 lands to cast this thing. So they put something from their own graveyard away. Okay. So, do I wanna deal with the Drake? Well, okay, why would you attack with that when you are tapped out? I mean, there's no reason to make the Drake tap there. They don't benefit from it at all. Well, first of all, I'm just gonna play the amulet here. I'm not gonna attack with it because it would only deal 1 damage. There's no point, you know, trading such beats. Okay, I think I will stop playing the lands for now. I might draw the 1 card that, you know, gives me 4 tokens, but that's a 6 drop. And of course I can play my land in that case if I draw it. Otherwise, if I draw Mutts, I want to discard my lands. So let them use their trick now. It is the supply drop. That's actually card advantage, so because they will be able to draw a card from it. And of course I did mulligan in this game, and they already got card advantage from the what's the card? Oh, they put it back to their deck. Now that said, I did get a land with the chaplain, which traded with the 2/1. Now this is a tough question. I have 7 lands here. But I suppose I just want to have the 1 card right now. The other option is that I will attack with the amulet and I will use this. Oh, but the static net gives me a... Yeah, of course. I can get rid of the flyer. And I can trade beats in here. Wait a minute, this says... Target permanent you control to its owner's hand. Yeah, okay, this works with the unearthed creatures. So if I want to use my removal, I should do it when they don't have 3 mana available. But yeah, I don't need to play I don't need to play both of these lands, because what I can do, I can use the Power Stone for the 7th mana. I'm gonna get rid of the Drake here. Get some life. So yeah, they can do tricks with, you know, the chaplain and the excavation. They have multiple Drakes, this is funny. That's a card you don't usually see being played. But I'm taking 5 now. Okay, more amulet action. They are 4/4, they actually deal a bunch of damage, but of course now I will just play my 3/3 double striker for mana efficiency's sake. And I won't be playing these lands because I might have multiple Mutts drawn. I have 3 in the deck. All in the deck still. 3 out of 23 chances. Okay, they can do 3 in the air. But I'm of course dealing 10 to them unless they block. They can draw a card. This is a permanent, so they actually can, you know, combine the supply drop with it. Which are of course expensive, but yeah. So if they deal with the treasure, which they... Okay, well that's bad. They have 1 jump block. Well, they will take 8. I mean, they will take 4 damage here. Okay, the paratrooper is quite nice. Well, nothing is... I'm not going to use the paratrooper as a pump now, because of course I play the 2nd amulet and then I will have the paratrooper here. They get a Power Stone token, I don't think it matters. Yeah, they are gonna go to 8 and I will have the double striker and 2 4/4s here, and the paratrooper they don't know about. Now the question is, should I play this just in case because I have the activation? I think I should. because who knows if I actually need all the mana, if I actually need to play the planes on the next turn. It's possible. So let's see. They have a lot of lands and the power stone, so equipping with the spike isn't gonna be a big deal. That's another jump blocker for them, right? And they still need 2 blockers here, right? I go to 8 and then I go to 4, unless I jump block here, which I won't do. They can actually use the excavation to block and return. That is a thing that they can do. Seven, 8, 9. So even if I draw land, I will not have 10 mana. Because if I had, I think I would have... No, it's still... okay, I'm not gonna block this thing. I'm gonna go to 4 now. Oh, okay, because this will deal 2 and this will... I know the Onulet will deal... No, they're gonna be going to 1 here. If I attack with the Paratrooper. Or they might actually prefer to, instead of using the excavation, they might prefer to, you know, do that. That's fine. I'm actually happier that they do that. Let's see what I draw. Onslaught. Well, this should do the trick, right? 7, 8, 9, so I can use both. Now this will do the trick now. But I think I needed to draw that. Because they can block the 3-3 and the 4-4 without the onslaught. Let's say this is land. I could only deal 7 damage here. Because I have only 1 activation for this thing. Oh, that's a mistake, opponent. Why would you not block the double striker? I mean, this is lethal. Opponent. This is lethal, it's double striker. They don't gain any life. That's like 8, that's... I mean, let's just... I don't even show them that they made a mistake. I mean, I showed that they made a mistake, but I still had to win here. But yeah, there's no lifelink here, let's just do it, what the heck. Why did they... Because they only needed to jump block the treasure and block the amulet. And this pump, this action here I did, would have left them at 1. If I didn't have the onslaught. Okay. That was a surprisingly trouble some match, given that the opponent actually played a 52 card deck. But I kept a risky hand in game 1, so that of course helped the opponent a bit. Okay, again on the draw. No 1-lander and not a great hand, but I'm keeping. I have the tome here if nothing else, and I have 4 lands for the Anolets, and I'm facing a 1 drop. Let's get the mountain right away. So at least this time opponent is playing a 40 card deck. And they go 1 drop, 2 drop on the play, while I had a deck that has like 8 2-drops. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. I'm not sure if I need a scry here right now. Although I might want to have the 4 life. So I'm gonna scry once here, especially because they just curve out. If they deal with the chap lane, I will be in trouble. So I'm gonna go to I'll try to get to the 4th counter, so I get to you know, get to the 4 life at some point. Right, so I know I have 2 5-drops, but this chap line can... I'm gonna find the 5th land like that. Did I scry to bottom? Yes, I did. So let's see what I see here now. Creature. Okay, so I can take any of those. The strong bull is a 2-3, and the scrap smith can give me value. 2, 3. Of course, this being 1/1 is enough. I'll just block the engineer. They get the power stone, but it's, you know, kind of inevitable that it will happen anyway. So I don't need the paratrooper, it's too small, but I can take either of these things. I guess I'll take this, that can maybe get me another card. And then am I going to scry another time and maybe then leave the remaining 2 activations to maybe draw a card? They won't be trading with the chaplain. Okay, I'll take 3 then. That's okay. So I can block the vanguard with the 2-1 scrapsmith if I find an artifact. Okay, they might be incentivized to make it into a 2-2 thanks to my chaplain being. They have 2 options there. Okay, they took the Thraxodemon. Well, that makes sense too. Let's scry. If I now find a land, I don't need it. Okay, that was a valuable scry actually. That was kind of unnecessary. Now, yeah, I admit Zindamore is negative synergy with the amulets, but I guess I don't have to be playing this anytime soon. I mean, I could play it right now actually, but well, actually it holds back the ground. And I do want to get rid of it before I do stuff with the tome. Okay. Although if they have a pacifism for this thing, it's actually quite annoying with the amulets. Fine. Fine. Let's just do this. Hope to get an artifact there. I did. I will keep it in my hand because this doesn't have to be a 3-2. The only reason for it to make it a 3-2 is that it can block the Corlys. But I will want to trade with the Vanguard instead, so I'm gonna take this to my hand. And I probably will maybe leave the remaining 2 activations to actually draw a card. I don't know when that's gonna happen though, because... Okay, now they go for that. Well, they have some tricks there. Or not. First strike and then a trick, nope. Alright. Anointer. That is a problem. I do need to find one of my answers. I have like 2 or something. I'm actually gonna go for the scry now. Yeah, anything I need the answer because this is, first of all, it's a flyer, which will be not a problem maybe anymore. Okay, so I'm actually doing it now so that oh, you notice they didn't play the Thraxodemon. That means they have something. I'm gonna draw a card, gain 4 life, and then play the Zindamore. Because of course, if I play the Zindamore first, I won't gain the 4 life. It is symmetrical effect. Alright, so this will, you know, block these ground guys. And then I have the wings which can be used to make my guys block. Okay, that's the reason they didn't play the non-flash guy. Yeah, they can pump now the... It's a bit unfortunate, but I'm taking a lot of damage. They might pump if I don't block. That would be 7 damage. I need to buy the time here. At least this means they won't be playing the Thraxodemon here. Because they have to use all the mana on the ambush paratrooper. They will still lose the engineer. They get a power stone, which will help with the stuff they have. Okay, I've actually drawn a lot of lands given that I have scry 2 to the bottom. Now, this threatens to be a 2-4 when they pump this guy. So if I mutt into wings into equip it, I will have a 3-1. And they can still attack with the survival of Corlys, so I think I'm gonna do this thing instead. And yeah, the flyers are gonna do the job unless I find my... I mean, actually the paratrooper is the problem. The Anointed 2, once they play the Thraxodemon, they can actually start triggering it. But I have 2 of those static nets unless I milled them. No, 2 static nets in the deck. In my 19 cards here. Do they wanna deal 2 damage for 5 mana? I doubt. I would assume they are gonna play the Thraxodemon, but that's not what they're gonna do here actually. They dealt the extra 2. Oh, but now that explains why. I got my static net, but unfortunately they presented another threat there. Can I win with something like a... So now they're of course threatening lethal at damage if 3 of their guys become, you know, are unblocked. kind of want to play the Onulet. I guess if I play the Onulet and the Mutt, then I can block two of their guys. And I don't actually want to discard anything for this thing. I need to push for damage here. I can surprise win with the Onslaught. They will have some blockers though. Okay, I think that is the best chance still I have to try to win here. But yeah, the recruitment officer is also giving them, long game cap capability here, so that means that I cannot exactly, try to stabilize and then win because they will hit more stuff with this thing. This is a tough one. They had they had 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. Did they have a 3-drop as well? But anyway, they have used all of their mana. Okay, that is going to be enough now. No, it's actually one short unless they have more tricks. I'm taking 5 here. They don't have the pump. But they go back to... Yeah, I have my static net and I'm gonna gain 2 life if I... Well, I'm not having a victory here, even if they... Yeah, because they gained life. Now, let's see they don't block any of my guys. Which of course never happens because the Corelis survivor will at least block the Mutt. But even if they didn't block, they would only take 16 from the Onslaught. Now, the 3 life doesn't help much here. They have... But maybe it helps just about enough. Because I can make one of the Onulets fly. Okay, so I'm gonna make one of these fly. I actually have mana to, because of the mountain I drew, which I needed here actually, so I can play and equip. Onulet will be a 5-4. And when I'm at 3 life, they will not... I need to block all the ground guys though, so I can't actually attack at all, because then either the Corliss or the recruitment officer will be able to be unblocked here. Okay, so it's really nasty now, but I mean there's a chance, but of course they have another flyer there coming up. My so-called chance is really non-existent here, but in theory I won't lose if they now attack and pump. I mean, in practice I won't do that unless they have interaction. Of course I know 2 of their 3 cards, but they drew something now. But if they attack and pump, I take a 1 power creature through, and of course I'm able to kill the rest, so they won't be attacking with everything and pumping. They actually won't be attacking even with 1 flyer. How can I... What is needed for me to win? For sure the opponent must make some bad decisions in terms of blocking. But I mean they have 3 flyers now. And that's even more creatures. Yeah, they are not even running... They don't need the officer's ability because they just have all the cards. And I keep drawing the lands. Now that said, I needed the 8 mana on the previous turn, so I can't be too sad about it. But of course now, with the land I can't play anything relevant, so it's just time to concede. I'm not sure if they are going to actually attack with everything. It's like slightly risky. But since I just drew a land, I can't even add anything to the board. I'm just not going to... It's not worth it. Against that deck, the riposte against those flyers will be pretty sure quite good. How about the amount of removal they have? They have Legions to Ashes. That's beta based on what I saw. I don't think I should have a Lawrence Escape. Disenchant. As you can see, another deck. I mean, the previous deck has had some equipment at least, and the 2-4 drakes that were artifacts, so they were targets for disenchant in there, but this deck doesn't have targets for a disenchant, so that's not gonna go to the deck. And then anything else, like Rock Hunter does block the flyers, but it's quite annoying to... I mean, it's not that useful against the Parrot. Well, it's not so useful against the First Striker, for instance. I mean, this does have uses beyond countering a removal spell. It can help my creature win combat too, of course. But let's see, I think I might cut like a... What? I don't want to cut anything. Maybe the mass production is not so great against their deck. If I cut the mass production and With that, also the Mistras Onslaught. I can now add one more card to the deck. I'm gonna have a little bit of a trick here. It can still, help win the combat, like I said. And maybe that's enough for that. Alright, let's hope to have a little bit better start. Because of course the hand there wasn't so great, but it was mulligan to 6. So this deck should have pretty good starting hands. Yet it does not. I need one any land to be able to play the cantrip the treasure here. That's not you controller, so I guess I can, Oh, plus it is target artifact or creature, so I can actually target the wings if I really need to scry into a land. I guess I'm doing this hoping to draw any land. But of course this will be... if I don't draw the land, might be just another non-game. Yeah, that's a very good one. Okay, yeah, let's draw the 5-drop. Mutt will be good too. I can just get rid of an Onulet. I have 3 Mutts, 14 lands. That's the Mutt. There is the Mutt indeed. So one Onulet goes away. No lands though, but at least I guess that's a playable card. I can scry into lands. Well, I can still draw all land on the next turn. Okay, so they can pick a Thrax Demon or the Survivor. They took the Demon here. And I of course will not draw any lands. Okay, what can I do? So I could try to raise them, but it's a bad raise. They go to 18, I go to 15. I have 4 life coming up at some point here. No, I have to stay and block. It hasn't been a good event in my terms of my how my games have started, because when you have a deck that has 16 lands, 9 2-drops, 6 3-drops, that's usually the kind of deck that has easy time at least playing the start of the game. And now I'm playing against an opponent that they did miss a 2-drop, so it wasn't 1 2 3 4, but it's still 1 3 4, and both the 3 and 4 give them cards. The 1/1 flyer is not much, but it's still better than what I'm doing here. And the 2/3 is actually gonna be able to attack into my board. Should maybe scry in the upkeep if this is not a land. Well, it is, so... Okay, what? I thought, well, whatever. I'm not gonna attack with this anyway, so... The fact that I accidentally went into combat is not such a big deal. Strongbull can at least block the Gigamole. But this gives me a card. Well, I guess the double struggle isn't that necessary against the 2/3 here, but it does draw me a card, and I do want to get closer to my second Onulet being cast. But I guess I'm gonna play this for now. Next turn I can do the treasure, and I suppose I'm gonna scry for a land now, but I won't be upkeep scrying. Okay, look at this. That's just value all over the place. All the cards provide value to them, and I'm missing land drops, so they will have all the time to use them to if they ever need to even do that. So yeah, this is just crazy. I'm not gonna upkeep scry here. That's fine. That's hopefully finding me a plains or something. But I already know I'm gonna lose here. There's no attack here. Because there's no beating this board. There's no raising them. I have no attacks. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Moment of defiance. Yeah, sure. I'm actually done. I know I'm not gonna win this game anymore. I have only 1-for-1 removal and all that. That was just opponent having the perfect curve and me having again struggled with my progress there, so nothing much I can do about that. Okay, can I be on the draw? Sorry, on the play once? No, all the 3 matches on the draw. Let's hope for a good starting hand then, because I haven't been having a lot of them. This is a good one. It's not amazing, but it's definitely when you can start with a Stone Seeker. This will be bad if I draw like a 3 lands in my next 5 draws. Hopefully that won't happen. I need more than 50% spells now. Well, there you go. That's not a spell. Well, I guess with the 6-drop and the Mistress Onslaught to, you know, combine with it, it's not the worst. And now that was a good one, because if this doesn't get killed, my Onulet will be a turn 4 play, but they have something, but I don't think there's an instant burn spell in this format. At 2 mana, I mean. So that means it's like a trick of some kind. Could be a disenchant on the Power Stone as well. But let's see if I have to skip my turn 3. I don't have currently any play for turn 3. Chaplain, okay. They get a... well, 2 of these options. Okay, mass production with Onslaught could be a nice way to finish or really put them to the ropes, but first I hope to have any spell castable on this turn, please. That works. That is any spell, and I'm happy about that. So now, of course, I hope to them not to kill the Stone Seeker, because that would make me sacrifice the Power Stone here. And I don't really want to play the Mistress Onslaught on 4, because I really want to combine it with the mass production. So ideally either the Stone Seeker survives, or, well, of course they had the best possible removal for that thing getting. So I hope that either it survives, or at least I draw a playable spell other than the Mistress Onslaught for this turn, which I still did, so in the end it's fine. I know about this, so at 7 mana they can flash and pump. I should, you know, keep that in mind. They are now at 6 mana, because this of course can be used for the trooper here. But now I can play the Amulet, and I guess now I don't mind drawing the 6th land. The important part here was that I had the... oh, that's sick. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. I mean, you can pause and read the ability, but this means if they have, you know, cheap cards in their hand, this draws them an amazing amount of cards, because they get those things to the battlefield. This is tempo and card advantage. So as sad as I am, I think I'm just gonna have to attack it. Although I'm fairly certain they are not going to block my creatures. I'd rather play the Amulet this turn. But of course, if they would block with the Queen, I would use the Onslaught. So I'm gonna still attack with both. I don't think they're gonna block with the Paratrooper either. But if they block with the Paratrooper on my Engineer, be my guest. Okay, that was kinda expected. These don't enter tapped or anything, they just enter. Yeah, so it's really... I know I missed the pump, but then if I played this pre-combat, I can't attack with the Engineer, so I can attack for 3, or this way I go to deal 4. So if they use this, it's a sorcery speed activation, at least there's that. So they would have to commit to it right now. That means they don't have the Chaplain. It really depends on what they have in their hand. They have a disenchant on the Onulet. I'm not worried about that, because now they are at 12. I will win with the mass, or at least get very close to winning with the mass production into Onslaught. Okay, they only attack with the Queen, unless that was like a miss attack somehow. Yeah, okay, sure. Okay, they just go for their damage, which is fine, because I'm at you know, enough life here, because I get some jump blockers and all that. So I might actually now win with this specific combination. Plus, you know, Phalanx Vanguard. That is a lot of pumps there for that thing. It's almost lethal, by the way, already. So this might be a lethal without the Onslaught. This is 4 to Unearth, so I won't be having 8 mana for both of these on the next turn, but two of any of my creatures will be lethal. I'm currently at 6 creatures, they are at 3. So we'll see. I guess they just never had anything with, I mean, discard all. They have to always discard all, and then they get to draw that many cards, and then all the, okay, they get some life, that's fine. All the one, well, no, one drop, 1 2 drop, and 1 3 drop, they discard it, will return. Okay, they can do that, and well, yeah, they don't like it anymore. So this is of course lethal now. But yeah, if I didn't have the Onslaught, this wouldn't be a lethal attack, so I'm happy now that I have it. Just don't click the wrong mode here. Alright, so I got to win here. So, yeah, so they choose one card with one. They may choose, they don't need to find everything. So if they discard 1, 2, or 3 mana creature, they can bring 1 for each of those mana values back. They return to battlefield, not to their hand, so that's really good, and they don't enter tapped. So this is crazy value. But I guess it's also not so good when you have some good, you know, expensive cards in your hand, because you always have to discard. But this is also a 3 mana, you know, 2/3 with potential to be amazing, so it's definitely a good card. But maybe I might have overstated a little bit of how you know, catastrophic it can be when the opponent plays this. They might have a hand that doesn't do anything with this. So, okay, it's still a very good card. Okay, I didn't actually check what I should sideboard here. So I saw like one target for disenchant. It's the static net. I don't think it's worth having the disenchant in my deck. I have more disenchant targets, so they should be playing it. Excavation, Explosion, and the disenchant both can target my stuff. So I feel like a Loran's Escape can be interesting. How about the Riposte? It is gonna kill the Cinnamon. When this is tapped, it kills it. Yeah, this... I guess that's enough reasons to play the Riposte, assuming I find enough cards. Now that they know about my trick, I might actually not play the mass production Onslaught combination, just like in the previous match. And anything else here? Fall of Krug. It's not gonna kill a lot of their stuff. I think this is the deck. This is the deck. So at least I will be on the play if I lose this game. So there's that. There is a Mutt, and then if I draw any land, even if it's just a mountain, I can still play the Dragon Engine. So I'm going to keep this hand. They are thinking about mulliganing. At least it's not an easy decision. Okay, they did mulligan. I will keep. Hopefully this time I won't miss my land drops. I mean, even if I don't draw planes, if I just draw a mountain, I can play the Dragon Engine, and then I can, you know, maybe spend a little bit of time with the Aeronaut's wings here. But let's see what they do, and let's see what they draw. It's good to have a plan, but no point of planning too far. So they have a Spell of Colis as well. I have a bunch of X1s, so it's kind of annoying, but then again it's a full card and it's only 1/1, so I'm not too worried about that. It's not like it's gonna be a clock or anything. Yeah, so what is my discard here? The Whirling Strike. Whirling Strike, although it is quite good. I mean, I could have actually kept Maze Mind Tome here, but yeah. The wings could also be actually quite clumsy here. Okay, I'm actually gonna get rid of the wings here. Well, that can be played, at least. But yeah, I'm not really. I mean, again, a starting hand that's struggling with curving out here. Now opponent did mulligan to 6, so I'm not too worried, but it's a little annoying. Okay, well, I mean, I could tome and scry to try to find a land, or I can play this thing, and if they have an excavation explosion, well, then they tap out for that thing on the next turn, I guess. And if this doesn't die, I will obviously be able to play the dragon engine at least. Or if I draw an untapped land on the next turn, I mean, assuming I have 4 mana on the next turn, if I have, I think it's gonna be tome into draw a card. This game is gonna take some time based on what's happening right now. So I will have time to draw a card with this thing. But let's see now if it's gonna be a removal on the Stone Seeker or not. I'm absolutely not going to block if they attack with the Corliss. Okay, they have a 4/4 now. That wasn't removal for it, but that was also not a land. So I can play the Dragon Engine, or I can play the Mutt and hope to draw a land. I will actually... Not sure if I care about riposte anymore. This thing is... I'm gonna play the Mutt regardless, just to hope to draw a land and then just play, a spell after that. I kinda like the Whirling Strike now, because it can maybe help me deal with that thing. Okay, let's take the riposte away. Land. Thank you. So now I could just keep mana up for the Whirling Strike. I'm gonna attack with this guy. I'm basically telegraphing now what I'm having here. But I wanna attack for 4 because I'm very happy if they block. So now I can, play the Paratrooper, but I think I will maybe I'm willing to, take the... I mean, if they have an interaction, then of course my block will be bad with the Whirling Strike, but it's not like the Paratrooper does much, although it can block the Corliss thing. I'm actually choosing to do that. I take 4 here now, but I can block the survival of Corliss and make them use whatever trick they have on the Paratrooper. And then I can actually, or pumping the Corliss or whatever. And then, in fact, I can actually raise them. I have a 6 power, I go to 15, they're gonna go to 10. They have just the escape. Well, that's actually still... I mean, I'm not even sure if this was the correct move, because, I still traded... I still got a card out of their hand. It wasn't... I mean, it was a 1 for 0. Finally, I draw a land here. So yeah, I can just... race. Play the Amulet. Not care about anything. I don't need a tome here anymore because I was able to just deploy such a board. Okay, well now that's a target for Disenchant. That's 1 if I ever saw. Well, they shouldn't attack because I have the pump. I mean, they're losing the pump. They have only 3 blockers. I have a menace creature. I have the flyer. That's they can't afford to So let's see. Of course, I can't use the Whirling Strike and the pump, but if I attack with everything, they will block the 4/4 and these 2. So okay, they will take 3 plus 2, 5, and they will. Well, it depends on how they block though. Because I might, if they block with the dispenser on the 4/4, then I can use the Whirling Strike and play a post-combat Dragon Engine, for instance. I'm still going to attack. They will be able to eat one of the Mutts with the Corliss thing. And they will be able to eat one of my things with the Elite. I'm not so sure anymore. I'm actually choosing a little different play here. Maybe. Because they can eat 2 of my guys for free. I don't kinda like that. Unless I go for the pumps. If they block on this, then I at least won't be... I don't actually know. Okay, fine. Fine. Let's do it like this. I think it's fine because I get to deal 3 damage this way, and I'm getting to yeah. Actually, I'm gonna lose these mutts. These are still hasty attackers for 1 turn. I kind of forgot that I thought I have 5 mana, but no, I do because this is a dragon. Yeah, I can't play the Scrapsmith, but I can play the Fallagy Dragon Engine. So Whirling Strike. It's not a lethal attack if I pump one of my unblocked guys. I should get rid of the dispenser ASAP. Hopefully they don't have another Lawrence escape. They didn't. I lose my mutts, but I have this thing. And then I have these as hasty attackers, and of course I still have the pump ability on the Paratrooper. This has Unearth, but I'm not too worried about them using 4 mana on this. They will, draw a card, but whatever. Okay, so I might... This game might go long enough that I use the Maze Mind Tome, but that's mostly gonna happen if they have like a lot of removal on my threats here. Because I can have, 2 other hasty attackers with power of 2 now, so... And they are only at 6. They have only 2 blockers now. One of these elites paying 5 mana for that. That's... Doesn't seem like it's going to cut it. I mean, it's always a little bit awkward when they have mana up. There's no way to gain life with this, in this set with this mana. No. Because I have here safe play as well available. I can't just attack with an amulet and I can pump this like once and then play an airlift chaplain. Yeah, it's kind of... I probably will win if I just do the Unearth, but they might have, Deadly Riposte. That would be good. Kill one of my things and gain 2 life. I'm doing the safe attack now, which is this. I let them trade with the elite. They have to double block the amulet, of course, so that it, otherwise I can pump my team and I won't lose the amulet. So that's what they actually do. Does that mean they have a trick themselves? That's really interesting. That's really interesting. I mean, they can have like their own Whirling Strike here. I lose the amulet regardless, but I'm not dead to their... They will unearth these. I will block one of their 4 power creatures. I will take 9, but I'm at 15. I mean, I was thinking just pumping these once and playing a chaplain, but I'm no longer sure. I mean, I'm doing this. I mean, why didn't they double block with the elite? Now they still have the amulet to worry about. I mean, just put 2 elites there. What's the worst that can happen? Unless they really wanted me to commit to this pump here, and they have now a way to beat me somehow. They have the steal the amulet, play this, steal the Stone Seeker, unearth this guy, because they could have like a sibling rivalry, but it's still not gonna deal 15. If they steal something else than the Stone Seeker, I will be able to block with it. I can take this damage. They make a token. Okay, they tap out, so now they basically conceded. I mean, there's nothing happening anymore. I have all the information. They have no way to beat my flyers. Okay, so at least the match 3 I still had some issues, but now the opponent did mulligan in this game. I also won both the games. The second match was a little bit unfortunate, but that happens. But of course, in order to get a 3-0 result in a traditional draft, you can't have multiple, bad things happen in several games, because you can only lose 1 game per match. If you have bad draws or something like, or opponent has like sick draws in 2 out of the 3 games, then you just won't win the match, and then you have this losing result in terms of gems, but in terms of collecting the sets and just having fun, it's still a decent result here. This was, I think, red white is an archetype which performs quite well based on the 17 lands data, but I haven't been able to draft it much because usually only if I'm played red or white, the other one hasn't been open. Now, I think the most controversial card in the deck is the Tokase's Onulet, but I do still think it is worth running if you have the Power Stone generating cards, and I do have the static edge. I didn't have excavation explosions. I could have the Power Stone engineers that can die early and help with that. Because if you can have a 4 mana, effectively, not 4 mana, but a turn 4 Onulet. Although with the static net it doesn't actually happen because you play this thing on turn 4. But let's say if you can cast the Onulet while you only have drawn 4 lands, then it's usually worth it. Because the Unearth here, both the life gain and Unearth, they are relevant things. It's not just a 5 mana 4/4 that, of course, such a card would be unplayable, even if it could be cast with Power Stone tokens. But the fact that you gain some life with this, and you have a 4-power Unearther, which is a big chunk of damage, and not that often easy to block without losing the creature. So I do like these cards, but I could see also not playing them in this deck. I'm happy I was able to win one game with the mass production into Mistress Onslaught, but that's also a little bit of I mean, the cards are good in this deck regardless. They have function synergies with other cards too. But it's also the combination of cards that I could have just cut and maybe just add like a Forged Chanter and a Loran's Escape to the main deck without having this expensive stuff. But I'm not sure if that would have been that much better in the end. This was at least more fun to play this combo. But yeah, certainly a fine deck, not like a prime quality deck, because I had like a couple of very good red uncommons, but I didn't have well, I guess not every red deck can have an excavation explosion, but that really makes it immediately a lot stronger deck if you have those great removals, and especially when you need the power stones, and this deck could definitely use power stones. So it had enough good white and red to that I can say that I drafted the maybe the correct colors in this draft, and I believe I built the deck mostly correctly. Claim the prize here, and I will see you in the next draft in a couple of days. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.